Okay, so now that we're familiar with powers of 10, we are going to apply these powers of 10. Okay, so for the first one, if I did 5 times 40, really what I'm doing is 5 times 4, which equals 20, and then I'm taking that 0 because I'm in the tens place right there and adding on my 0 on the end. So my answer is 200. So that looks like 5 times 4 and then times 10. So my answer would be 200. And these are extended multiplication facts. So we know 5 times 4, but then now we're extending them and adding on that extra 0. So I'm also going to do the same thing for the next problem. So I have 5 times 4, if I want to write it like this way, times 4. And then I also have it multiplied by this 0, so it's 10 to the first power, and this 0, which is 10 to the first power. And so when I multiply, now remember, when you multiply, your numbers can be in any order, and it does not change your answer. 5 times 4 is going to give you 20, and then I have 1 0 and 2 0. So my answer is 2,000. And now moving on to the same type of problem, just a little bit larger. Again, I'm going to take my 5 times my 4. I could do 5 times 10 to the first, because I have 1 0, times your 4, times 10 to the second. So now when you go to do your math problem, 5 times 4 is 20, then add on 1 0 and 2 zeros to get your answer of 20,000. And so this is what we're going to do throughout the rest of the lesson today, is practice using powers of 10 to do larger math problems. Okay, so now we have 300 times 90. So again, if I were to write this out, I could take my 3, and I'm multiplying that by 10 to the 2 power times 9, multiply that by 10 to the first power. So now when I go to do my problem here, I'm going to do 3 times 9, which equals 27, and I have 2 zeros and 3 zeros. So my answer becomes 27,000. All right, moving on to the next one here. I have, take out my 8 right here, 8 times 10 to the 3rd power times 5 multiplied by 10 to the first power. And so like we've done before, I'm going to multiply those numbers. 8 times 5 is going to give me 40. And then I need to add on 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3, and 1 0. So when I'm done, my answer is 400,000. And finally, my last example that is similar to this is 400 times 400. So doing the same thing that we've done, I'm going to take my 4, multiply that, this is an expanded form, times 10 to the 2nd power. Now the second part of my problem, my 4 times 10 to the 2nd power. And so now, again, I'm going to multiply my 2 4s. 4 times 4 is 16, and I have 2 zeros and 2 zeros. So when I'm done, my answer is 160,000. Okay, so now we're moving on to kind of a different section here. I'm going to go ahead and just draw a green line. And so our problem is a couple different story problems down here. So before we start, just so we keep in mind, an estimate is an answer that is close to the exact answer. And we're going to use our estimate to help us with these problems here. So Miles solved 492 times 63, and he got 480,992. Is his answer reasonable? So we're going to estimate our problem here to see if his answer was close to the correct answer here. So 492, if I were to get a really good estimate of that number, that is really close to 500. I'm going to go ahead and write down 500. And 63, that I'm going to round that down to 60. That's going to be my estimate. So instead of doing 492 times 63 and actually doing that math problem out, I am just going to do an estimate to see if his answer is close enough, if it's reasonable. So like we've done before, 5 times 6, and I'm going to go ahead and write this over here, and that's going to give me 30. And then I'm going to count my zeros. I have 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So now that I'm looking here, my answer is 30,000. His answer is 480,992. Is his answer reasonable? We're going to say no, that's not close. He went probably one more digit further. So he is not reasonable. No, that is not close at all. Okay, the next one. A grocery store manager likes to have at least 4,000 cans available. I'm going to go ahead and underline that so I remember that number. He has 67 boxes of 36 cans. Does he need to order more? Okay, so our problem that we need to do first is 67 times 36. So we need to find a good estimate for this problem so that we can decide, does he need to buy more cans? So 67, I'm going to go ahead and round that. Remember, I want to round to the nearest tens or hundreds so that I have zeros that I'm working with. 67, I'm going to round that to 70, up to 70. And then 36, I'm also going to round that up to 40. So now when I multiply, like we've done before, 7 times 4, it's going to give me 28. And knowing your multiplication facts right now is going to help you so much. And then I'm going to add on my 1 0 and my 2 zeros. 1, 2. So right now, he has 2,800 cans. And remember, the problem says he likes to have at least 400. So does he need to order more cans? Your answer is going to be yes. He needs to order more cans. All right, and here's your lesson practice. So I'm going to read you the problems, and I would like for you to do these on a notebook piece of paper or something that's around you. Write down your answers because we will check these when we come back together. Jenna multiplied 72 times 689, and she got the answer 490,608. Is her answer reasonable? So when you do this problem, make sure you estimate, make a good estimate here, okay? And then you're telling me, is her answer close? Is she on the right track? And then you have two problems down here below. 7 times 9,000 and 50 times 300.